What's up, Bodyweight Warriors? Welcome back to another video. Today I've got an active full body limbering routine. It's going to cover all different ranges of motion using our own strength. You are going to need some equipment today. Primarily, you're going to need a couple of yoga blocks as usual. You're also going to need some resistance band, a medium light resistance band. Other than that, some time and space, and let's jump into this routine. So we're going to go from head to toe in today's session, a little bit of the shoulders to begin with, and then a lot focused around the hips and the lower body. Let's start either seated how I am now, on a chair, standing, doesn't matter for the moment. We just need the arms and shoulders free to move. We're just going to do some Lewitt technique, channel favorite, help to mobilize the cervical spine, get some movement in the shoulders before we look at opening them up. So arms out to the side, you're going to raise your palms up and that arm up, palms down, arm down. You're going to look to the palms up, reach the hands away. As you change breaths, inhale or exhale, you're just going to swap sides. I'm going to try and think about maintaining good posture, so chest up, head nice and tall, reaching the arms away from the body. And then if you can do, because we're rotating the hands, I'm trying to externally rotate on my palm lifting up. I'm going to try and rotate as much as possible. And on the one lifting down, I'm going to try and rotate as much as possible into internal rotation. So we're getting a nice little floss going in the shoulders. A minute in total, then we can look at opening the body through all ranges of motion, and we're going to do it actively. It's a real nice daily limber, something that I've sort of been adding in the mornings, taking some of these components and feeling really good. Beautiful. Okay, now you are going to want to either be in a kneeling position or in a standing, sort of in a lunge. We basically need to have our hips fixed, but we're not trying to go into a nice hip flex lunge. We're just going to have hips above our knees. So I'm going to be feeling that my lower body is nice and locked in, and I want to focus on rotating my spine. So I'm going to pick a point in front of my eyes, and I'm going to really focus on it. I've got my left leg forward here, so we're going to start with the left arm as well. I'm going to place my right arm on my left shoulder. Imagine that you're holding a plate. You're going to try and reach the hand round, and you're going to go as far as you can behind you. So we're getting a nice thoracic rotation, or just general full spine rotation, as far as we can. Come back to the center, keeping the head facing forward and just twisting our torso as much as we can. As you get towards that end range, pause for a few seconds, come back to the center. We're going to do 5 in total. And it's really about imagining our hips, our shoulders and our head are all separate cogs, and we're just trying to turn just that shoulder cog, that rib cage. So last one here, 5-second pause, just head facing forward, and swap sides. So either take a different lunge, a different kneeling position, right leg forward, left leg back, hips on top of the knee. We're going to take left arm on the right shoulder, hold that plate with the right hand, reach around as far as you can, keep the head going forward, pause for a few seconds, back to the center. You may notice that one side here feels a little bit tighter than the other. Feel free to just sort of go back, do an extra few reps on that tight side. That's 3 to 5 second pause in each one. Really reaching the hand as far around as you can, but keeping those eyes, that head, those hips facing forward. Last one here. Oh, real nice. Like the one just for opening up the chest. Now we're going to take a look at opening up the shoulders. I would suggest here that you have those yoga blocks, or maybe even a chair or a sofa or something in front of you, just a way of elevating the hands slightly. And we're just going to go back into that kneeling position. I'm going to drop down into kind of a cat stretch. So I'm just going to let my chest sink as much as possible, keep the arms straight, try to extend through the spine. And then we're just going to pull the sternum in, but try to keep the shoulders facing down. So actively try to make almost like an ab contraction. Feel a bit more active. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. And then we're just going to let the shoulders drop again. So we do 5 of these in total. So sternum in, pull the chest up, try to even round the back, but keep the shoulders low. Drop down again. Try if you can do, time up your breath. So as you exhale, pull in. As you inhale, drop the shoulders down. This is number 4. And then last one, nice active position. And then come down on the hands. We can just move into an upward dog. We can shake it off. And then we can flip ourselves around just to do one final kind of more chilled out stretch before we get onto a little bit more active stuff again. You're going to come into a German sit position. So fingertips facing away, nice locked arms, wiggle the hips forward. Try to feel like you're pushing the mat away behind you, lifting the chest. Nice stretch now over the front of the shoulder, over the bicep. Just going to hold for 30 seconds, just keep wiggling forward. And then we're going to move on to our final upper body exercise, which is just dynamically moving through our shoulder flexibility. So, last 5 seconds here. Okay. So we can come back to a seated or kneeling position. You're going to want that stick or resistance bands now. So you can also be standing here, really whatever is comfortable for you. I'm going to use a sort of medium band, medium light band. You can use a very light band, but that's going to allow your hands to move a lot. I want them to stay a little bit close together. We're going to do 5 reps of dislocates. So dislocates is when we're going to move our shoulders through a full 360 degrees actively, and also internal and external rotation. So the narrower we go, the harder this one is going to be. So start a bit wider. Try to think about reaching out away from the body at all times, lifting it up as high as you can. When you get to the top, let those shoulders internally rotate. Find that pec stretch at the bottom, lower down into extension. That's almost 1 rep, that's halfway. And then back up to the top. That's 1 rep, so 5 in total. This one, you might find that 3 is enough, but we're just looking for a good stretch over the pecs. And we're going to feel that traps the rear delts. The external rotators are going to be working. That's 3. Number 4. And then last one here, move those hands in if you can do. Number 5. All the way down. Nice, nice, nice. So that is the upper body. Nice, quick, simple, limbering through all ranges. We're now going to turn our attention to the lower body. So you are going to want to be seated here. You're going to want to get yourself comfortable on the floor in a mat. I'm going to start off with just some hip swivels to loosen up the hips and the shoulders. So hands supporting, feet wide, drop both legs to the left-hand side, keep the sternum facing forward, pause for a few seconds, reverse that motion back and forth. We're just going to do 10 in total. This isn't about developing flexibility, just about getting some movement going. The more you sit upright here, the more you're going to feel those legs needing to rotate in the hip. Okay, so we're going to do just a little bit of light stretching, similar to the upper body, just to loosen up the glutes, loosen up the hips, and then we're going to transfer that into a few core lower body movements, which I covered in an entire video. If you want to see a bit more details about that and how I like using them, I'll link that one in the description down below. Okay, so as Molly said, let's finish on the left-hand side. So we're going to drop both legs to the left. I want to make a 90-90 position. I want to twist into this front leg. So I'm going to have my sternum going forward, going over that front foot, and just finding a little bit of a stretch, loosening out, feeling a stretch in this front glute. And if we can do, I'm just going to push my rear leg back, and that's going to basically allow me now to kind of like rock over, roll the pelvis into more of a pigeon. But we're just looking to loosen up into external rotation. We're going to spend a minute per side on these ones. So I like just to move in and out, trying to think about just getting this right hip going over towards my left foot, trying to square up my shoulders, my hips, and focusing on, where's the rotation happening? It's happening at this front leg, so I'm trying to keep my left hip down and get my right hip over, twisting into it to create that external rotation. Okay, last 5 seconds here. Alrighty, and then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So let's twist our way out of this one, clean up the mess that Molly's trying to make. Go to the right hand side, so that 90-90 position. Go over that right leg. Remember, twisting into it, sternum's going over this right knee. Come on down, find that stretch in that glute of that front leg. Twist about, you can go try sternum over the knee, try sternum into the center. And then we can begin just to move that left leg back a bit and try to get into more of a pigeon position. Again, just rolling in and out, just loosening things up. So a lot of restriction, certainly in the lower body, comes from the hips. So just getting a little bit of limbering going can really help let us take advantage of those sort of lower body positions. Okay, last 10 seconds here. Try to get as close to that pigeon as you can do. Getting on top of that right leg. Okay. So we're going to come into a standing position now. You might want to grab some yoga blocks or a chair or some support in front of you. I'm going to have a couple of yoga blocks just for good measure here. And we're going to place them down. We're going to start in a horse stance position. So I'm going to take both feet together. Now you see we're going to go heels out, toes out, and heels out. So we're going to start with 3-step. Shake things off. We're just going to squat down, and I want you to try and think about pushing the knees forward, pushing them out, and then hips back. So just move around a little bit. Should we feel like just kind of a wide squat position. We can come back up to like a pike, still hand support. I'm going to go heels out again, and then just make sure my toes are square. I want to then drop down back into a horse stance. I'm thinking knees forward, hips forward, trying to pull the knees out. It's going to take 10 seconds holding this. If you need the support in front of you, it's absolutely fine, but it should feel like a more active position. Shift back to kind of a pike, again supported. And then if you can do, if that was challenging, stay there. We're going to do one more heels out and then toes to match. So we're nice and square now in a nice straddle position. And we'll do one final hold just for 20 seconds. So sink down, knees forward, knees out to the side, hands to support if you need to. Think about sinking the hips down, forward, trying to pull the knees out. So it should feel kind of like a frog position, but active. 20 seconds. Take the weight in the hands if you can do. Cross your hands, feel like Van Damme. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squat out of it if you can. Okay. We're going to move now to position 2, and we're going to look at opening up the hamstrings a little bit. So I want you to come back to that standing position, and we're now going to work on kind of a train track sort of thing. So I have left leg forward, right leg back, so I'm in a stride stance. We're just going to work on kind of flossing the hamstrings and getting a little bit of movement going in the hips. So I want you to think about pushing the hips back, bending the right knee, left leg comes back. We're just going to reach the hands forward. Doesn't need to be neutral. Just going to reach and come back. And if you want to make this extra horrible, you think about pulling this toe back towards you as you reach. We're going to do 10 in total. So almost like sweeping the ground, reaching the hands forward. A lot of the weight's now on that back foot. When you squat down, we're just really kind of pulling the heel back towards us. 9. I'll do one more on this side. Okay, perfect. Swap sides. So same stance, little step. Right leg's now forward, right leg. Keep it straight. Push the hips back. Reach the hands forward. Come back up to that start. Multitasking with a little bit of dog entertainment and walking. So 10 in total. Pulling those toes back towards you, reaching the hands forward. And this reaching is going to be an important cue as we get into the next exercise. So it's the last few here. Reaching forward. Nice hamstring stretch coming out of it. And then on this last one, let's just come down into a bit of an upward dog. And we're just going to move very briefly in the opposite direction before we do the movement for this exercise, which is kind of like a reach into a Jefferson curl. It's a weird combination, but I quite like it. Let me explain and show you through it. We're going to do 5 reps again, like we've done with everything else. So we're going to come back to that standing position. This time we're going to do both feet together, push the hips backwards, reach the hands as far away as I can, keep pushing, keep reaching all the way down till we're back to that bottom position. And then we're going to do a Jefferson curl out. So I'm going to think about curling from the base of my spine back up to the top position. So it's more neutral spine, reaching the hands away, loading the hamstrings, pushing the hips back, folding forward into our max stretch, reaching the hands down, and then curling our way back up, squeezing the bum, pushing the feet into the ground. Reach the hands away. Reach as far down as you can towards the ground. Tuck the hips under. Roll the spine back up. 5 in total, that's halfway. Reach the hands away. Nice, controlled, slow in all ranges. One last one here. Reach the hands away. And curl your way back up. Beautiful. Let's come down onto the floor. So we're just going to loosen up the quads. We're going to take our left leg, switch around this way. So we're going to left leg back, lying down. We're going to tuck it under our hips. So we're kind of in a couch stretch, but we're on the floor. And then I want you just to lean back onto this elbow. If you want to pin down this knee, you can do so with your foot, or you can think about just pressing it down. In this position here, I'm thinking about driving my hips up. So I'm going to squeeze this glute, and I'm going to try and just keep leaning back as deep as I can. So the lower I can get, the more stretch I'm going to get onto this quad. If this is a little uncomfortable here, give your shin some support if it feels uncomfortable on the ankle. We're just trying to lean back, feel a good stretch in the quad. And if you can do, obviously shoulders down to the ground is going to be the most extreme, but make sure you keep pressing with this hip out into the sky. Oh, nice stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths, breathing down into the front of this left hip. Another 5 seconds here. Then we can come back up. Let's swap sides. So let's take that left leg forward. Let's take our right leg back. We're going to take, again, if you can do, anchor it. Left leg. Lean your way back. Think about pushing the hips up into the stretch. Nice stretch over the quad. Go as far back as you can do. Breathe down into the front of this hip. If you can do it, feels quite nice just to get the arm above the head. It's going to just bring that length through the front of the body. And then I just like to really think about breathing down into the front of my hip here. It's like the lazy man's couch stretch because you can just lie down and do it rather than having to be standing up. And you don't need a wall or a tree or anything like that. So we're just going to do some nice deep breaths. Feeling that length in the hip. And she's back. Okay. We're going to do similar to our first movement. We got a horse stance. We're going to do the same sort of static hold. We're going to do a long lunge. So that's we're creating strength and length through the hip flexor. So we're going to start actually on the left hand side. So we're going to take our right leg forward. And we're just going to go into a moderate lunge. Grab yourself a yoga block or something to assist if you want to. And you can also assist by just placing your hand on this knee to give some length. We're going to start with the knee above the foot on this front leg. And what I want you to do is I want you to try and think about pressing down into this support, trying to keep the hips nice and low. And you're just going to try and straighten that back leg. So I'm going to try and lift the knee up, straighten the legs, kick the foot into the ground. But I'm not going to lift out of it because that's moving out of the stretch. So just do it slowly, try to get a feeling for it. Kick, hips low, feel the stretch over the hip flexor, pause, and come back down. We're then going to just try to move the foot back a little bit if you can do, move this knee back, and then repeat the same thing. So we're just going to do sort of 2 or 3 warm-up reps. So really focus on the quality of that contraction. So kicking down, come back, again wiggle the foot back if you can. And then we're going to do one for 20 seconds. Again, if you need support, absolutely fine. Try to do it without support if you can do. Just going to lift, and we're just going to try and hold. So 20 seconds in this lowest position we can do. Try to lift the chest up, try to straighten the leg, feel that stretch, that length over the hip flexor. Create that tension. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back down. Swap sides. So that yoga block goes on to the other side. We're bringing our left leg forward now. Start with the knee going over the foot, so it's a little bit easier. Think about keeping the hips low. Try then just to kick the foot into the ground, straighten the knee, create some length over the hamstring. Do a few reps, wiggling the foot back. Just trying to feel that length going now over the front of the hip. Okay. And then we're going to do that 20 seconds rep, taking as much load as you can through the legs. So lift, straighten the legs, keep the hips nice and low, 20 seconds. Keep holding, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, put that to one side. Come down to the ground, down to a kneeling position. We're just going to drop back into a bit of a child's pose. Just take a couple of breaths. Try to relax a little bit. We can take now our left arm in this sort of quadruped position. We can thread it through. Just drop the shoulder to one side. Again, just take a few breaths here, a little bit of a twist to the spine. Feel the rib cage expanding. And then we can come back, right arm under, drop the shoulder down, look around. Take enough nice deep breaths. And that is basically the routine. Quite a nice, semi-short, active sort of limbering position. Those positions, so being able to do the dislocate, the horse stance, the sort of Jefferson curl thing, and the long lunge. Those sort of 4 I find just cover the entire body and keep things kind of lubricated and moving. If I feel strong, if I feel good in those positions, then my flexibility is likely to reflect that. If there's anything you struggled on in this routine, then maybe pay some more attention to it. And then of course, there's that link in the description down below, which goes into a little bit more detail about why we've chosen them. Other than that, catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Have a strong week.